Hello and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. Today we have on a special guest. We have Chris Mancini from Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey Danny, thanks for having me.
Great. So I already introduced you a little bit.
Yeah.
But can you just give us a quick overview of who you work for?
Yeah, I'm the executive director of Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, organization founded in 1986 to really lead the cleanup of Boston Harbor. And that was a big win, actually. We went from having an environmental disaster to now some of the cleanest urban beaches in the country as a result of that effort. And we can thank the DR Island Sewage Treatment Plant and all the effort of thousands of folks for working on that and getting pipes off beaches. And while that job is mostly done, we're going to talk about some areas where it may not quite be done yet.
Mm-hmm. Now, the organization and you've done quite a bit of very impressive work, and you had won longtime president before you took over as well, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So this organization's been around a lot longer than I have, and it's one of the reasons I wanted to come work here was just to seeing all the work that they do. And I started as the vice president of operations under Patty Foley, who from South Boston, really led that cleanup and turned the South Boston beaches into some of the cleanest urban beaches in the country. So I like to say I'm a recent transplant to Swampscott, and as we're about to talk about, Kings Beach is the one beach in the Commonwealth, officially this year the dirtiest beach in the Commonwealth. So my hope is that I can be a resident of the North Shore and really help lead that to a place that matches the other beaches we have here in the Bay State.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And you just mentioned Kings Beach, the water quality report card, as you said, just came out, and there's been a lot of improvements, you said, in a lot of other beaches. That just doesn't have to be one of them.
Right. When you look at our water quality report card, which just came out, you can find it on our website, and most of the beaches in the region, and Save the Harbor focuses on, we say, Nahant to Nantasket. And that includes, if you start at the tip of Nahant, comes around to Kings Beach and Lynn, then goes all the way down the coast, the state beaches in that area. Most of them continue to perform quite well. You get a lot of beaches, especially, like I said, in South Boston, that get 100% rating. You can swim there every day of the year. And that's a far cry from when we used to have to cancel events because it rained a little bit and then wash all the sewage and stormwater out. But Kings Beach continues to lag behind. We know the reason. We know that it's at the mouth of Stacy's Brook, which is that very attractive looking creek that flows across Kings Beach at the Lynn-Swampscott border. And 100 years ago was integrated into the sewer and stormwater system here, which made sense 100 years ago. You had this big ocean, you could dilute all this stuff. Not that many people were living here, maybe. And then 20 years ago, they separated the sewer out from the stormwater, which is a huge improvement. We've seen a huge improvement from then. But we can't quite figure out where the final pieces of contamination are coming from, and it's been really nice to see in the last 4 years, the town of Swampscott, the city of Lynn really working together and collaborating with the folks at the state level, the Lynn delegation, to problem solve and figure this out. And so, fingers crossed, as they do that systematic work and go up the pipes, they actually find the culprit and we can just call it a day. But in the meantime, we're looking at alternative solutions that a lot of people may have seen on our social media and seen online. And there's a lot of discussion, I know, on some of the social media platforms about this, which is great to see people paying attention to it. So we're looking at some alternative solutions, talking with DEP and the EPA about what's a possibility. And meanwhile, continuing to go up those pipes and see if you can find the cracks and the illicit connections.
And I'm probably going to get this wrong, but UV disinfection, there's a specific kind that was determined that could potentially be the best. It wouldn't fix the problem, but it would help treat the water that's in there.
Right.
Maybe.
Short of finding the source of the contamination, any other solution is not a full solution, right? But it is, the goal being, can we get this beach open, right? You got a mile of beach, premium beach. You can walk to it from most of Lynn. People use it all the time. Use the boardwalk especially. Right. But why not be able to swim there? And right now we know people do swim there. We know that the brook looks like a really fun place to play, and I know I would, but before I knew it was full of contamination pretty much every day of the year. So yeah, the steering committee came together and really tried to look at what's going to be balance like environmentally friendly, fiscally responsible, and be able to turn that beach around in as short a timeline as we could. So they looked at 6 different possibilities. And actually we have another website that I forgot to tell you about, but kingsbeachma.com is all about just Kings Beach. We post all the updated steering committee meetings, all the select board and Lynn's city council meetings where people talk about this issue. So you can go there and get some of this more detailed information. But yeah, the one that the steering committee came to was can we disinfect it with a UV plant? It's not overly large. You can put it near the mouth. And there's been examples of it working down in Newport, Rhode Island to improve water quality. Yeah, it's a really strong idea. Again, there's still conversations happening with the state to figure out what the realistic possibilities are. But we're really hoping to partner to find funding or partial funding, and hopefully in a couple of years we'll all be swimming at Kings Beach.
Like you said, it's made a huge step that now everyone's working together. You got town, city, and the state all talking to each other and saying what are reasonable and realistic things we can do.
Yeah, exactly. And both the town of Swampscott and the city of Lynn have hired incredible engineering companies, some of the top in the nation, to do the work. So Swampscott's been lining their pipes, which were really old and cracked, and so you had like the sewer lines were cracked and leaking into the stormwater, which was going to the beach. In Lynn, you've got this really extensive system where you've maybe got old connections from 100 years ago even, and trying to find those and move them to the right pipe so that they're not continuing to contaminate. But it's a painstaking, incremental process where, I mean, picture it, you've got this spider web of pipes, and you got to start at one end, take a sample. Is it bad? It's bad. Let's go up a couple to the next manhole. Okay, it's still bad. So as soon as you get a good reading, go, okay, well now I know it's somewhere down here. And then you got to go up the sides and like find it and eventually narrow it down to maybe one building or one crack.
One of the world's largest scavenger hunts.
It's a really disgusting scavenger hunt. That's a great way to put it.
But as like you said though, Lynn and Nahant both have prime beaches, and in addition to helping clean them, you also said there's many events that are hosted there that can be really fun.
Yeah, once Save the Harbor, really felt like most of the harbor was clean. We started seeing these really great numbers on most of the beaches. There was a discussion back in like the 90s or 2000s, I want to say, from the stories I'm told, that it's like, well, should we just wrap it up and call it a day? And the organization and the board decided, you know what, now that we've got clean water, let's invest in these areas and let's connect people to it. Because even to this day, you have people who don't realize like these are some of the cleanest urban beaches. So we partner with the state of Massachusetts. We run an annual fundraiser called the Shamrock Splash every March. We jump into the harbor down in South Boston or East Boston usually. Some people do it on their own up here and in Winthrop and Revere. And we raise a bunch of money. The state gives us a lot of money as well. And then we put that out as grants. And this year we gave out 92 grants to organizations, again, from Nahant to Nantasket, including about 10 groups up here in Lynn and Nahant. And you can find something free. These are all for free events for the public. So you can now find, as a result of this program, something free to do on one of these beaches almost every day of the summer. I know this weekend is going to be a really busy one. There's concerts in Red Rock Park with the fireworks. Later on in the summer, there's going to be the Diversity Matters Festival with the North Shore Juneteenth Association. There's art festivals. There's workout classes. There's a painting class that's really fun. Is I think our second or third year doing that. You can just come down and you'll get a free painting class on the beach. It's called plein air painting. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. The Lynn Shore Showdown that Mayor Nicholson started before he was the mayor. They do that over in Nahant. So yeah, again, it all comes back to savetheharbor.org. You can find the calendar. You can look at all those dates, put it on your calendar, and get down to the beach or Red Rock Park or Nahant Beach.
Oh yeah, you have a huge calendar of events, which is, I've gotten to a few of them before. They're fun. They're just so fun.
Yeah.
And they're a great way to get the community involved and remembering that we have all of these really nice, clean beaches.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's got the flip side up here for Kings Beach, right? Which is like, we still want to get people onto the beach, maybe not in the water on those dirty days, but at least it'll get people sort of appreciating and realizing and continuing to build that momentum and that crowd that really wants to see that problem solved.
And you said, even yourself, you're a bit of a transplant to this area, and you can see all the value and all the potential here.
Yeah, I chose to move here. I chose to move to the dirtiest beach in the Commonwealth because, again, it's still a great waterfront, and I think there's work to be done.
Well, I said, so far, your organization and so many are doing really fantastic work on it.
Thank you.
You see you every day going out there doing things.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, we try to do some cleanups as well with some businesses and the city and the town, and I know a lot of other people are doing that on their own. So we're not the only ones. We just really care about this place.
It's a beautiful place to care about for sure.
Yeah.
And before I wrap everything up, is there anything else that I didn't ask you or anything else you wanted to mention?
I just really hope people will check out that calendar and come out to Red Rock Park, go down to Nahant Beach, look for a painting class, and spend some time down there.
Well,
and stay out of Stacy's Brook.
Yes, even though it looks fun. Don't do it.
It looks fun. What do they call it in legalese? Is an attractive nuisance. It's like, oh, I want to play in that. Oh no, wait.
Just stay out of that, but come to all the other fun events.
Yes, yes.
Great. Well, thank you again for coming on.
Thanks, Annie. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, always. Thank you. And once again, this has been the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and we'll see you next week with more guests.